This is an illustration of a typical manual transmission core return. Prior to returning the core, you want to make sure the unit is drained of all fluids, secured properly, and wrapped to avoid damage during transport. Failure to ensure fluids have been drained or damages found from unsecured loads will result in chargebacks or core credit deductions. Also, please make sure all of the appropriate documentation is included with the unit. For example, your debit memo and/or credit reference paperwork, as well as a copy of the original invoice or product return form, PRF, if you have it. We provide our core return guidelines paperwork along with every unit sold, and it's a helpful starting point for information gathering. All units are inspected as follows to make sure they meet core criteria guidelines. We start from the outside. Sometimes we receive cores fully dressed, which include the bell housing, shifter tower, and yoke still attached. We have no issues with these types of returns. All cores must be returned complete to receive credit. Here's an example of a disassembled core return that includes all the parts. This would still be considered an acceptable core return. Please note, mixed and matched components from other cores will not be accepted. It needs to be the original core and 100% complete. Incomplete returns will receive appropriate credit deductions. At the same time, unlike cores will not be accepted unless prior arrangements or agreements are in place with the respective location's core manager. Firstly, we always check to make sure there are no cracks, bulges, or holes in the housing. So this example is considered an acceptable core. Any cores with cracks, bulges, or holes in the housing will receive credit deductions, including deeming the unit as an outright unacceptable core, with no core credit to be issued. We also check to make sure the input and output shafts turn freely. If the input shaft turns and the output shaft does not turn at the same time, it can still be considered an acceptable core, if you can rotate the output shaft manually. If the shafts are seized and do not turn freely, there may be potential damage discovered upon our next steps when we inspect internally. Additionally, there will be other credit deductions on units which have been burned up due to improper lubrication levels, have been exposed to fire, or have severe rust because of prolonged weather exposure. Next, we need to remove the transmission cover to be able to do the internal inspection. First, remove the bolts and then tap on the bottom and lift up on the breather to remove the cover. Residual oil in the system is considered okay, though there will be an automatic chargeback for units found not to be drained. Some gear teeth may be sheared, which is acceptable, because the gears will be replaced anyway. However, catastrophic damage from excessive overload or shock load could result in credit deductions. Excessive internal rust, welded, or burn-up units will also receive credit deductions. If the unit is seized, the gears will not move freely. Additionally, many of the gears will also have a blue coloring, with a distinct smell of burnt oil. This is considered a contaminated unit and will receive credit deductions. Excessively contaminated units will receive no core credit. When reinstalling the transmission cover, make sure the shifter pin is pushed inward so it does not interfere with the internal stick shift pin. Make sure the shift bars are aligned and in the neutral position. Align the forks up to the collars so they are in the neutral position and gently let the cover down. If the external and internal shift pins interfere with each other, the cover will stick up. To avoid this, make sure the external shift pin is pushed into the inward position. This will allow the cover to close properly with the guide pin properly aligned. Once the cover is properly positioned, you can then easily reinstall the bolts firmly. Rest assured, if you receive any cores with these issues outlined in this video, you will be notified by email or phone, so please be sure to provide accurate contact information along with your return paperwork noted at the top of the video. Please remember, all cores must be returned within 12 months of purchase for credit eligibility. Finally, we don't tie up your money by delaying core credits for an extended time period. As an industry leader, we strive to process all core return credits within 3 weeks of when they are received. For more information, visit our website or contact us directly.